Hey. Well, and welcome and thank you for you guys for those of you who stayed for this stream or came in at, odd times. At the end of every day's stream, I do a breakdown of the whole day and basically I chop that up from this live stream and then set it to premiere at 7. So if you are here right now, the only reason to watch the premiere of the breakdown is if you want to see my face again, but you are in no way obligated to break down. So today was day 7, and there was some interesting stuff that went on early this morning outside the presence of the defense, though there is a lot of rampant speculation. We are not clear as to what happened. As soon as the judge came in and they were called to order, the defense asked for a sidebar. That was an incredibly long sidebar. It looked like they'd gotten everything done, and then they went immediately back to another sidebar with another prolonged wait and ceiling fan shown to the point that the general kind of consensus was that Brian was going ahead and trying to plead, or there was some shenanigans with jurors. Now, I don't know exactly what went on, and it doesn't look like there's anything else that went on. We went back to the incredible, hellacious defense cross of the CSI lab guy. We were able to find out finally that the white powder residue was identified by lab testing as baking powder. We talked about, the knife on top of the fridge and a lot of red blood stains. Basically there wasn't any blood splatter that this witness could get into because that wasn't his job. So a lot of these questions seem to be based on trying to imply that there were too many CSI and state troopers in order to maintain a secured crime scene, leading to possible cross-contamination, and impeaching this witness on the fact that other troopers or other crime scene people hadn't noticed the discoloration on Brian's bedroom floor. They The defense attorney made a big deal again that the only real places where evidentiary sort of evidence was found in the house itself were in the basement and close to the basement stairs. We got off on this random tangent about the oily film on the hatchet. And basically, the state was able to come back with redirect and walk the jury through, how you take and find relevant pieces of evidence in a bigger or larger crime scene. So that was kind of all we got from that after all of that went in. We then start our long line of DNA experts. We had Bryce Raymond, and there was a bunch of DNA evidence. It looks like they were able to submit 6 at a time, and there were multiple people that worked with each of these sort of 6 items. There are 4 steps to the DNA extraction process, and there were a lot of people today that were basically just foundational witnesses there to explain what they did with each of these samples. And he did some of the work on some of the samples. Then we went over to, let's see. We went over to the next person who was, and I love that I numbered these and still can't pay attention. Then we went to Brenda Kessel, Madison Frank, Troy Adams, Yoli Brega, Emily Oliver, and Mary Nagel. Now, these were all people that basically worked on a bunch of different things, and I will go over what they tested with the final witness for the DNA. But a lot of these witnesses were basically just there to show who had actually touched all of these samples with the way that they kind of did divide and conquer as far as with the amount of items in this case. So finally, to bring it all together, we get the let's see, Suman Salim. She is kind of the overseer of the DNA lab, and she was the one that was in charge of interpreting the data on all the items that were tested. Now, the first item that was tested was the interior of the dark gray slipper. And that was a mixture of three people and one or at least one male contributor. Now, Anna was included in this particular mixture as well as Brian, which you would think would kind of make sense because those did look like male slippers. And this particular sample was taken with the intention to try to get the original wearer only, their DNA, to kind of identify who would normally use these in the regular course of every day. The next area of the slippers that was looked at was the exterior top left of the dark slipper. Now, that had a combination of two people's DNA with a male marker in it. Anna was included as well as Brian, but the concentration of Brian's contribution was so low that basically he couldn't be included with any sort of specificity. It was 77 times more likely, and anything below 1,000 is considered a very low sort of benchmark. Then we went to the interior sleeve cuff of the Tyvek suit. Again, this was taken to try to ascertain who was the person using the suit. So they were trying to actually just get a single source thing. And actually they got a combination of three different DNA contributors and a male marker. Anna was also included in that, and Brian was 100 trillion times more likely to be included than excluded. So they did get a very strong presence of his DNA, but now, as I was saying, DNA is so sensitive that we're picking up trace amounts. I would say that it's going to be more common that you're going to have these combinations rather than a single source, just because they are getting so sensitive. Now, on the same Tyvek suit, on the exterior pant leg, and I believe that was the right pant leg, that was from a single source of a female, and that was confirmed to be Anna Walshe's, or at least she can be confirmed to be included. So the language of DNA is can be included, which basically means, yeah, it's probably likely it's the person, or excluded, it's not likely that this person's at all involved. So that was definitely, Anna's blood or cells of some kind. Stain D, the interior right sleeve of the Tyvek's suit, was a combination of both Anna and Brian's blood. But again, the contribution or concentration of Brian's blood was so incredibly low that they couldn't get sort of an accurate quantification on his sort of contribution. Then we went to the unknown clump of tissue found in the dumpster in Samsquatch. That was a single female contributor, and it was shown that Anna Walshe could be included. The red-brown stain that presumptively tested for blood, stain K from the basement floor, was a mix of two different people with a male contributor, and Anna Walshe was included. Brian Walshe was excluded from this. Now, they didn't go into a lot of detail as far as, it wasn't such a small, concentration or anything like that. The next thing we went to was stain C with the hacksaw, and that was confirmed to be a single contributor that was linked to Anna. The handle on the hacksaw was a single female contributor, and Brian Walshe was excluded because it's a single contributor. The towel in bag 1 was a single contributor, and it was proved that Anna could be included. The apparent hairs that were found in trash bag, I believe with the slippers, were a single contributor, and Anna Walshe was included. The red brown stain on a carpet found in bag 5, a single contributor, Anna Walsh. The hatchet head, the one we've heard about ad nauseum about the oily substance that was found on it, that was a single contributor, and Anna Walsh was included. The hatchet handle was a mix of two different people. Now, Anna Walsh was also included, and there was not enough of the second contributor in order to include or exclude Brian. Now, the last thing that was sampled was stain A on the tape with the gauze on it. And one second, I will answer that. Was a single male contributor, and that was proven to be basically Brian was included. This is probably his blood from his boo boo. Now, Anna's DNA, it looks like, and was stipulated by both sides that during the federal case, FBI agents took buccal samples from both Brian and Anna Walsh in 2018, and those samples were kept in their secured evidence storage facility until 2023 when they were handed over to the Massachusetts State Crime Lab in order to do control of known samples in order to test these controls against all these items. So that's what it looks like where they got the control, because I was wondering where they were going to get that as well. Because how can you prove that this is a toothbrush that only Anna used and things like that? But it looks like Brian's kind of tomfoolery with the fraud created a situation where we had a, federally documented and securely stored sample of Anna's DNA waiting for all of this testing. Now, according to, we had one more witness. We had Michael Roddy from the Home Goods District Loss Prevention, and he provided some surveillance videotapes that happened on January the 4th, showing Brian purchasing the rugs that were actually found and photographed during the walkthroughs. So it is kind of interesting how all of this is coming together. And we kind of got the surprising news today that at least if I'm understanding things correctly, it seems like the state's case in chief might be coming to an end tomorrow. I'm actually kind of shocked. I thought we would be doing more DNA testing since there are still more tools that were found. I mean, I guess maybe at this point the state feels like they've made a pretty good circumstantial case. I'm not sure. Now, the judge did say that the evidence was going to be done by tomorrow, and I am wondering if she's asking them to prepare potential jury instructions. Now, there are only supposed to be, I think, 10 or 8 to 10 witnesses, including Brian, for the defense. So I don't know if the state's nearly done and Brian doesn't feel like this is going to last very long, or what exactly is going on. Now, tomorrow, the jury is going to come in about an hour later. She's still going to start on regular time as far as for the attorneys, but basically they're going to be doing a voir dire, I believe, of Tom Malugin or something of that effect. I know it's a different last name. Y'all know I'd suck at names, but essentially the friend they hung out with on New Year's Eve, I believe, is going to be one of their last witnesses. And apparently there were a lot of motions in limine about some emails he might have sent or pictures he might have sent from his phone or some phone of the Walshes, or Walshes, sending him pictures of Anna and the children. So again, I'm not quite sure, but that's kind of what we're looking at tomorrow. Now, the voir dire is not supposed to take all that long, from what both the state and the defense said. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Again, maybe we might get confirmation of what the long sidebars were about. Right now, we don't have anything more than rampant speculation. But I will say I have been really impressed with the judges, management of this courtroom and her ability to, kind of keep everything going. And then everyone's generally working together as much as they can, both sides, to make this an efficient trial for the jury. So that's kind of what went on today. It was a little bit odd, and I will be curious to see what other people made of the incredibly long sidebars earlier today. And, feel free to look around. I will be looking around to, see what other people are speculating about. And you guys, remember that tomorrow is Cosplay Wednesday. And if you go over to the community page, you can, vote early, vote often for whether we're going to have Mermaid Mo tomorrow or we are going to have League of Their Own tomorrow. I was able to get a kind of licensed Rockford Peach, from the League of Their Own costume. So that's what we have. So go vote if you want to do that. And if you want to hang out with me for more time tomorrow, every morning at 8 a.m., I do Mornings with Mo. We do headlines, true crime, and all the absurd. The morning news you need and all the politics you don't. We leave that stuff behind. I find crazy clips and just the most ridiculous things you can find. So that's kind of what I do in the mornings. And then at 10:30, we will be starting up the Petty Express again for day 8. So have a lovely evening. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Squid Raiders, for raiding as we are finishing up. Let me see if I can find someone to send you guys over to, since I'm trying to be as awesome as Baker and remember to do all these things, but I usually have a Baker to remind me. Let's see here. And I'll send you guys over to Lacey Jane. It looks like she is watching the Jodi Arias trial. So, that is always a fun blast from the past and crazy ex-girlfriend you can't escape. Like and subscribe, share, invite other people to the Church of Mo. I will be back here tomorrow to do another day of this. And thank God or Friday's a half day, because the defense is about to test the last little bit of Jesus and sanity in me. Go spend time with your family or, hang out. Let's decompress and meet all back here tomorrow for another fun day of shenanigans and court drama. Bye, you guys.
Goodbye.